Lady love, your love is peaceful like a summer's breeze. My lady love, with love that's tender as a baby's touch.
Welcome to Miss D and Friends. I'm Darlene Love, and I just want to talk about weddings. As you remember, a while back, everybody was all excited about Prince William and Kate's wedding and what they were going to wear and what hats they were going to wear. Well, let me tell you, I'm from the old school, and you see this hat that I have on my head today? It's over 30 years old, and it came from the Duchess, my aunt, Willie Mae. Back in the 70s, she used to visit, and we used to go hat shopping and all over. We went everywhere. She took me to the 49er games because she was a fan of the 49ers. When you went in her home, there was a special room with everything from the 49ers, wherever they went, and whatever they would do. So I'm just telling you, this hat means a lot, and it means a lot to take care of the things that people give you. Now, I even recall some months back, Gayle King and everybody was talking about the royal wedding and what hats they should wear. All those fascinators just, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like the Queen. I think that you should be classy in everything that you do. So I'm all about fancy hats, wide hats with flowers and everything. That's the way I like to do what I do. Now, I'm just thinking about when they talk about royalty, that's where we come from. We go to tea parties and we have our tea and we wear our hats and our gloves and our fine, fine costume jewelry. And you know what? I just think about how good that God has been to me. Now, my mom always tells me that I'm like my Aunt Anne. And I don't know why she says that. She's just a classy lady, just like me. It's been some 90 years. She celebrated a birthday last month. And she said to me, Darlene, I'm so tired of everyone asking me, how does it feel to be 90? And she said, it feels like I'm 60. And I said, Auntie, you know what? That would make me older than you. She said, that's all right, honey. That will do. So now I'm just telling you, I feel excited and I feel so good when I dress up and I put on my hats and go out to weddings and receptions and tea parties and all kinds of things like that. You know what? I have a cousin that lives in Gainesville, Florida. Her name is Bonita. You know that means beautiful in Spanish. And she has over 125 hats. I'll share that story with you because on my birthday, she sent me the most beautiful hat. And I'll show it to you on my next show. But in the meantime, I want to tell you that weddings are important. And when my dad died, I have one uncle who was Uncle Clarence and my Aunt Anne, who are the last loves that are living in our generation. So I just want to share that when my father passed in 1980, my baby sister was so, so sad. And then in 1990, she got married, and so my uncle stepped right in and took my dad's place, and that was the greatest thing for all of us to see. My Aunt Edith, we call her the Queen, was a seamstress, and she made the dresses for the flower girls over the phone. Never seen them, but they were so beautiful. Oh, you could imagine how Yolanda felt when she saw those dresses. And do you know that on that very day, she wore this very same hat? So can you see This hat means a lot to me. You know, Aunt Willie Mae was a dresser from way, way back. They taught us a lot of things. And you ladies, young girls, wear your hats. Dress up and be dainty. Be classy and sophisticated and elegant. That's the way it should be. Now, I have some fond, fond memories of weddings. You see these flowers? Aunt May had, these are bouquets from my sister's wedding. And her wedding was so, so gorgeous. You know why? Because I was a coordinator. And I did all the things that I never did for my own wedding day. I was the personal shopper for my mom and for her mother-in-law. And that was so much fun because the colors were pink and fuchsia. And we shopped all over the town. We went to Walnut Creek. We were in San Francisco. We were in Concord. And we were trying to find pink dresses and pink hats. But I worked it. I tell you, I worked it because that's what I do. And if you need a personal shopper, call me and I'll help you. Now, let me tell you something. I had an aunt, Rachel. We call her Ray Ray. She's from New York and the best caterer that you could ever see. She flew all her stuff in from New York to cater the wedding for my little sister Yolanda, you see. Now, on the day of the wedding, oh, it was so fantastic. Yolanda wanted balloons of a heart shape, and I found the perfect person to set these balloons up for her reception. It was gorgeous. Can you imagine how that would be? And when my uncle walked my sister down the aisles, that brought tears. Oh, it brought tears to me. Now, I guess you say I'm just really over exaggerating, but no, that's not what I do. I'm always for real when I'm telling you. Now, there's been some people that I just can't ever forget. When I think about the Duchess who gave me this very hat. You know, does it look like this hat is over 30 years? I think not. When you take good care of your things, they last forever and you can pass them on from you and me. And this very hat I wear when my granddaughter comes over and we have our tea parties. And she wears one and I wear this one and I'm hoping that I could pass it on to her. But I don't know about this younger generation, you see. Well, let me tell you something. All of the preparations that they go for all these weddings, they pick out the china, they pick out the silverware, they pick out all these things. But what I found is the best gift that you can give to the bride and the groom is money. So they won't have to take all those things back. And when they break up, and God hopes they never do, then they'll have to split them up. And who wants all that stuff? Half of it you never use. But let me tell you about me. I don't get rid of anything. I use it from day to day. Why the heck are you saving all of that stuff? Use your china. Use your silverware. Use your crystal. You see these old glasses? Do you know where I got these from? I got these from an antique sale. And they're real. Can you hear that? And they're old. They're old. As a matter of fact, I was watching a movie one night and I saw these very glasses in the palace with one of the kings and queens. So you know, that means that I am royalty. Now let me tell you about hats. They are so fascinating to me. I have some friends that when we lived in the East Bay, we would go to weddings and we'd look forward to it because we would dress up from head to toe. You know, I'm so glad when I can see ladies dressed in their hats and their gloves and their purses and their shoes and all the accessories. You know, when I was a little girl, I dreamed of all that. I wanted to be special. I wanted to be like Loretta Young that would come down the stairs. And you know, do you know that that really happened to me? My sisters, I have 3 of them, and they all used to make fun of me. They laughed at me because I didn't like to wear those old flannel pajamas and those old rabbit house shoes. I liked the beautiful gowns like Loretta Young would walk down the stairs, you see. Now, my older sister, her name is Geraldine Loretta, and I often thought my mother should have named me Loretta because that's more like me. I don't know. I know you think I'm crazy, but I've got a lot of sense, you see. Now, I don't know about all these fascinators, these little funny little hats. I like big hats, as you can see. I have some friends and I will show you from way back in the day. We wore beautiful hats. We added our own flowers, as this hat my friend Polly did for me. Now, when you talk about hats, I have several friends who love their hats. And I have a cousin who's, she is so much like me. We haven't seen each other in many years, but when she sent me that hat in the box, I couldn't wait to get home. I had scissors in my glove compartment and I called her on the phone. She said, "You didn't wait to get home?" I said, "I couldn't. I had to see what that hat would look like." She said, "You keep scissors in your glove compartment?" She says, "So do I. But let me tell you, hats are your crown and glory. Not only on Sunday, I wear hats during the week, the summertime, or wherever I go. When you wear a hat, it makes you feel good. Ladies, you know. And let me tell you something, some of you men, put that derby on your hat, a hat is so classy. You can wear them too. Now, I don't know what you're thinking about when you go to a wedding without a hat, and I think hats are so beautiful, but those fascinators, I'm sorry, they just worked me. They just worked me. What is it when you have just a piece of this and a piece of that? A hat should be your crown and glory. Now, I know you say this woman is a nut, and you quite might be right, but I don't see it like that. I like to live like royalty, so I may show you all the hats that I have, and then I may not, because you might think I'm crazy. But I tell you, when you put on a hat, you feel so good. You just feel like royalty. For every time you see the Queen, Elizabeth, she has on her hat, her gloves, and her jewelry. So I told my mom, the Queen Rutha May, she's going to be honored tonight for over 50 years of service in the community. I said, "Mom, are you wearing a hat?" She says, No, dear, not during the week. That's not for me." Oh, well, I don't know about you young people, but I was on the internet one night. I saw some hats that would blow your mind. Now, when I go to Florida to visit my cousin Bonita, I'm going to just sit right there, and I told her, "You're going to model all those hats just for me." You know what she told me? She told me that she had her garage a closet for all of her hats, her suits, her purses, and her shoes, you see. She had no room in her house. And I can quite understand that, because I have to share my closet with my Dre. And every time I buy a new pair of shoes, he says, "Oh, here comes Dee with another pair of shoes today." But But you know, as I get older, I find I can't wear those high heels. They don't make them for us older ladies, you see. But you know what? Ladies, keep those little isotoners in your purse. Step in with them on. Pull them off. And then you can sit and ask everyone to serve you. And that way you don't have to walk in those shoes because you might fall and hurt yourself. And that would be so terrible because I know, because I fell and they just laughed at me. Well, I'm learning in my old age to be graceful, and I know I love to wear my hats. So, if you get the opportunity to go to a hat shop, have fun. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can take that old hat like this one that's over 30 years, add some flowers and some horse net, and as you can see, this hat has 20 more years to last. And I want to thank the Duchess, Willie Mae, for passing this hat on to me. Now, ladies, take a tip. When you go out, put on your gloves, put on your jewelry and your hat. And if you don't get compliments, it must be something wrong with that. You know what? I take that back. Dre and I went out shopping the other day for our Thanksgiving dinner, and I thought to myself, I must wear a hat because it's cold and it might rain. And as we were walking through the grocery store, this young lady came up to me and she said, "Miss, I think I know you." And I said, "Where are you from?" And when she told me, I said, "I don't think so." She says, "Well, then I must have seen you on TV." Well, I said, "I do come on TV, but I think you were thinking about Gail." And Gail, you know what? We have so many similarities. When I watch you, I'm like, oh my God, that girl is just like me. But you know what, Gail? You're young and you have a ways to go. But I'd like to meet you someday so that we can share our little stories. And I can get some tips from you. Because I'm just an old lady with a hat. And I'm going to say bye-bye to all of you. So here's some hats from back in the day. Now you look at them, and they never go out of style. But those fascinators are for you young people. My white hats, they will be in style for a long, long while. So have a pleasant day, and dress up, and have some tea. I'm not crazy. I'm just an old lady dressed up in a hat. That's all you can see. Bye-bye. I'm back, and I'm sharing this beautiful hat that was sent to me by my cousin Bonita in Gainesville, Florida. And I'm sharing an article that she has shared with me. It's from the Daybreak in Gainesville, Florida, and it says Hatitude. And I'll show you this. And the article reads, Gainesville resident Bonita Spidell has a collection of more than 100 hats. She's even went as far as to closing in her carport to make oversight closets room for her storage. Bonita Spidell is searching for the perfect Sunday hat. And as you can see, this is a beautiful hat that my cousin sent to me for my birthday. It's just gorgeous, and I love it. And, you know, we haven't seen each other in over 20 years, but we have so many similarities. She loves hats, and I do too. She loves to dress up, and that's what we do. So, you know, I'm going to read this article because it tells you a lot about family and how generations. Her mom was a churchgoer and she wore hats. My aunt Rachel, who lives in New York, she's a hat wearer. My aunt Ann, who lives in New Jersey, who my mom says I'm just like, she wears hats. And my aunt my aunt Helen, who is in Pensacola, Florida, when she steps off the plane to come to California in San Francisco, I told Dre, I said, that's my aunt. She's the one that looks like royalty. And then I have my aunt May Harris and my cousin Marie Harris. We are hat wearers. We love hats. And I just want to tell you that a hat is your crown and glory. So I'm going to read you this little article that they wrote up from the Daybreak in Gainesville, Florida. It says, Bonita Spidell is searching for the perfect Sunday hat. Her bedroom is a jungle of feathers, furs, fabrics in every color imaginable. Sequins and pearls, shimmers amid the mount of hats heaped upon her bed. Each is as vibrant and varied as a fresh box of crayons. There are straw hats for the summer and felt ones for the fall, lace veils with flowers and beaded cups with ribbons, and all having matching outfits carefully hung in her closet. Spidell has so many, in fact, that she's closed in her carport about a year ago, so she could properly store the more than 100 hats made up in her closet. The search is finally over, and she found her match, a stunning white cup sprinkled with rhinestones and lilies, paired with a crisp white stiff radiance, practically divine. A hat just completes your outfit, Spidell says. Beaming, you'll feel well-dressed and elegant for church. And she's telling the truth. As a little girl, I remember my mom setting me down in a little chair with a hat. And when I get in front of a camera, I just, I know that I look fantastic in that hat. So from the age of, I would say, 2 years old, I started wearing hats. And I've been wearing hats ever since. Every Easter, every Christmas, every holiday I wore hats. And then when I became a teenager, for the summer, I'd always wear straw hats. In the winters, I always had my caps and my hats. And as I got older, in the wintertime, you wanted to wear a hat because it was cold. But in the summer times, I felt so good when I would leave out to go to work. And I'd have on whatever color outfit I'd have on my hats. And people at work would look at me so strange. But I said, this is just something that I've always done all of my life. And I just feel that you're not properly dressed if you don't have a hat, your shoes, your gloves, and your purse. You're just not properly dressed. So I found it rather unique that after Bonita and I had started talking over the years, and that came about because she was going through some things with illness, and so was I. So we began to pray for one another, and she would call me back and say how the prayers would work, and she shared with me. It's so funny. I tell Dre now, she was sharing with me to go to the dollar store. They have this red rubbing alcohol. I said, well, I know about the green one. She says, no, you go get the red one. So I share with you this little story. Dre always, I think I confuse him because I always keep a bottle of apple cider vinegar, I have a bottle of green alcohol, and I have a bottle of red alcohol. So he doesn't know from one day whether he's going to the salad bar or to the hospital, because from one minute he smells vinegar and the next minute he smells alcohol, but it's all good because when it all turns out, I say, honey, I know, you gotta pat me for this and but in the end, I might be feeling sort of bad, but when I step out, I'm gonna be looking good because it makes him feel good when I look good. So ladies, keep your apple cider vinegar for when you eat that wrong thing, it'll make you feel better. And keep your alcohol when those aches and pains start to come, you can get up and move around like you know you want to do. So I'm thankful to my cousin Bonita for sending me the hat. I got a card from my cousin Stella, who's in New York, who celebrated a birthday this month, and from my good friend Gloria Rupus, who's in New York and New Jersey with her nephew CC Sabathia, who sent for her for the holidays. And I got a beautiful card from my sister Mignon Blackshear, who celebrates a birthday on today. I'll never forget her sister Cookie. Every year for my birthday, she always sent me a card, and even in her last year as she was sick, that was the first card that I received for my birthday. And so now her sister has taken the baton, and that was one of the first cards I got. And it read, it's such a beautiful card from Mignon. As busy as you are, there's no doubt that your life is spirit-filled, because the only way you could possibly give everything done is with God lifting you each step of the way. Have a blessed birthday. Love you always, John and Mignon. And then I got a beautiful card from my cousin Stella from New York. Happy birthday, cousin. Hope your birthday brings you all the things you like it to. Cake, surprises, gifts, and the fun the whole day through. Love, Stella. Enjoy your day. And then I received another card, and this one says, the food's perfect, the company's warm, the memory's sweet. Hope your Thanksgiving is everything you love. Happy birthday. And this was from Beverly and Lenise and Desmond and Jerome. We celebrated Thanksgiving here at our home, and it was it was something for me, because out of my 64 years, I've only cooked a turkey twice, because Thanksgiving always fell around my birthday, so I never figured I had to cook. And Honey was so sweet when we were out shopping. He says, honey, get the things that you don't have to cook, because I know that you don't like to cook. It's a task for you. So he worked with me. I got up at 4 o'clock that morning, because I knew my mother was coming over with the white glove, as she always does, to say, oh, I see dust here. And I'm like, Mother, if you don't like what you see, just, overlook it. So it was a fantastic birthday. I have one more card I'd like to read. It says, celebrate your wisdom, treasure your years, and say hallelujah to being alive. This is your day to celebrate. So have a happy birthday, wear your hat, and thank you, Bonita, for this beautiful hat. And happy birthday to Lenny and all of you.
My